I had to block my bipolar before she ruins my day. See, I'm smart now. Fuck. Negativity, an ugly text message, bitterness. Shit could really ruin your day, especially when you have a lot of anger within yourself that you're mature enough to submerge. But I've been anticipating this talk. I was thinking about it yesterday. Actually, yesterday morning, I was watching some YouTube channel that I watch. The guy who runs the YouTube channel, some white guy. I think he's phony. He's like this privileged white guy who does good videos, which brings in a lot of attention, but he uses a lot of drug addicts and people for their stories. I just had I got to race to the bus right now. I'm trying to catch the early one so I could get to class early and do some work. I kind of lagged it a little bit. An hour flies by, you know? I guess my mother was thinking I was making too much noise. I actually feel very, very bad for her. Things must have happened when she was like before 5 years old. That's fucking neighbor Waters. I hate when he stares, but something must have happened in that critical period in her life where she was so unhappy as a child. Trust me. I tend to say I hate her in my head. Oh, fuck, you're annoying, or I feel, man, I'm glad I'm not you, or oh, you're just bitter, you're psycho, or weirdo, you know? I think these type of things before I ever feel sorry for her. But we were all kids once, you know? It's kind of sad that I think about her this way. I even wonder if her being, like, not around anymore, like, what does she really do for me? I mean, she probably does a lot for me. Like, you know, if she was dead, I'm pretty sure my stepdad will probably change on me. Probably make me feel like unwanted, you know? I probably wouldn't have nowhere to live. So, anyway, that's why I'm going to school. So I don't fucking kill myself having to be stuck at like a Home Depot job forever. But yeah, I just hate how she's so bitter and she ruins people's day. Anyway, what I was thinking about yesterday, you know, my daughter's getting older, you know, hanging out with my daughter this weekend. She's getting older and, you know, I could get a little scared, you know, like, just I don't want her making bad decisions, you know. You know, I was stupid and put myself in stupid situations, you know, with people. I wouldn't say people. Oh, look at this stupid dog. Ruins people's morning. Shut the fuck up. Fucking dog. You're such a mean bitch of a dog, you know? Fucking, that dog always barking, man. But, I might miss this bus, but I'm walking pretty fast, so I just don't want her to put herself, you know, I'm not gonna say people, you know, I put myself in stupid situations, you know, not really realizing who I was, you know, the fucked up attitude I had, the insecurities within myself that didn't make me a good homie or a good friend, you know. Stupid. Fuck you, German Shepherds. Nazi dogs. Fuck you guys. But I put myself in situations, you know, and the people who disliked me at the time, they probably still dislike me, but at the time they were lost boys too, you know. And so I don't want her to put herself in situations, especially with the men, because, you know, men want to have sex with women, you know, especially when they're young. They just see them as sex. So I'm gonna tell her. I'm not gonna be like one of those trying to guard her from sex, or I'm not that fucking stupid, you know. The more you try to like hold things from them, the more they're gonna want to rebel. So I'm gonna be honest and let her know the consequences and the realities of these certain paths you choose to go down. Like, I'd rather her guard her heart, you know? I'd rather her be smart enough. I was thinking to do your best to control the uncontrollable. You can't control other people. You can't control someone else. But you can control yourself. And if it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. Don't be an idiot and fall for somebody who you know is not going to be true to you or only wants you for sex, you know? Don't be that stupid, so that way you're protecting your own heart, you know? It's okay to like them and wish they might be different and kind of be like, oh, that sucks, you know? The truth, you know? They seem like they'd be super cool if they weren't so screwed up here, or they could only see themselves here. But don't be an idiot and trying to play self-sacrifice Jesus, you know? Fuck that shit. Your life is important. And stop following this stupid idea that we have to be some self-sacrificial for the greater good of America. Fuck that. When you're 30 and 40 and you realize if you would have just fucking achieved and followed your heart, and then you're at a level of a solid foundation financially and spiritually, then you could maybe help when you can, you know? But do your best to control the uncontrollable. That's what I was thinking. I need to teach my daughter, you know? Don't be one of these stupid lost girls that had no father, fucking liking some gangster wannabe tough guy who thinks he's a fucking man when he's not. And he's over there breaking your heart, cheating on you, but you're so fucking stupid. You think that's love, you know? I was getting nervous about the future, but as long as you're prepared, you know? As long as you're prepared best you can be. Then I had another thought yesterday. Another thought about you know, that could be a lot of people's fear and insecurity, you know, especially if you're insecure. And I mean, you just think you're like less than what other people see you. And this pretty woman wants to be with you, you know, she's choosing you, she wants to be with you. And not being secure enough to realize, like, okay, I'm enough now, you know, I'm enough who I am now, you know. A lot of times we get like a pretty woman and we're insecure, we're like, why are you looking over there? Or we see someone else, another guy that might be like more attractive or more successful, and we want to question like, oh, does she want to be with him? She probably wants to be with him, and then we feel bad about ourselves, or we feel, I don't know, we just feel fucking insecure, bro. We start questioning, we start treating her like shit because we're insecure within ourselves. We don't feel good enough. You know, but, you know, that could be a lot of people's things that fuck up a good thing that you may have had or may have, or even in fear of even holding on to something or even wanting to deal with all that is fear, you know. Hopefully I didn't miss the bus. Not the early one, but yeah, it's a fucking... I was thinking about that yesterday, you know. If you got a good thing, don't let your insecurities fuck it up, you know. Oh, the bus is coming.
Innocuous. Zealot.
I am off tomorrow, but I do have an 8-hour shift today. Actually a 7-hour. And I get off at midnight, so I have to go to class right now. I'm not sure if I had a nightmare. I'm not sure if you'd call it a nightmare. A nightmare is usually when you're like getting murdered or some fucking, you know, science fiction sort of unreal dream, you know? But it was a violent dream I did have. Pretty fucking odd. So I'm not sure how much I slept last night. I do know that I do know that I laid down before 1 a.m. I got off at midnight from work yesterday. And luckily I called my Uber like 2 minutes before I clocked out. And luckily my Uber was less than 5 minutes away, so I got home before 12:30. I was able just to microwave some bullshit and eat it real quick, take a quick shower, and lay down before 1 a.m. because I wake up at 5 a.m. So I would say I at least got 3.5 hours of sleep. I took a 1 hour nap before work yesterday. And I have an aim to take a nap before I go to work today. I could probably maybe get in the most 2 hours of sleep before work if I make it to work like right on time. I'd like to get there at least an hour early and read my book at Starbucks. I don't like going to Starbucks, but it's so fucking sunny. There's nowhere to read. You know, I don't want to read over there at work because, you know, the area where all the workers, like the workers' lounge or whatever, is just too busy. I have to read focused, you know, nobody coming to bother me. Or, you know, I just feel like at Starbucks, it's like, I don't know. Fucking spider web. I wish there was a park near my house. Like, I'm talking about across the street, you know. There is a park, but it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to walk. Fucking spider webs. Motherfuckers, man. Fuckers love the summer. What is a itsy bitsy spider, you know? They don't like water. But so yesterday in class we learned about Sigmund Freud, about his theories. You know, he's an interesting guy. You know, he talks about defense mechanisms, the id, the ego, and the superego. I can see why he's relevant even till today. You know, people still believe in his theories. Makes a lot of sense. A lot of people think he was an asshole because he kind of didn't take women's side of things into consideration. He believed women were just too full of emotion and they made things bigger than they had to be because in their nature they're full of, you know, just too much emotion. They don't think logically, supposedly. But, you know, I don't know. It was just part of the times, you know. Well, again, I say they. It's literally just the opinion of my instructor. She said she thinks he's a douchebag, but you could tell when she's teaching. Like, she's teaching as if she also believes. You know what I mean? It's like she's following the theory of these famous theorists, these famous scientists in psychology. It's kind of like unconsciously she's just kind of believing in it, you know. I would actually like to maybe get in more depth because since it's summer and the classes are accelerated, you gotta just run through it, you know. Where the fucking dogs are at. They're so annoying. And yeah, Sigmund Freud, man. It's called the Freudian slips. It's like when you say something that you kind of didn't mean to say, but it comes out and it's really kind of the truth. It's kind of what you didn't want to say. Like you were trying to submerge the truth, but it came out, you know? And one thing that stands out to me, a defense mechanism that he brought up is sublimation. It's, substituting these aggressive, sexual behaviors and emotions, like through sport or through something like, if you had a lot of aggression, you just substitute it for boxing or football, But my teacher said it's not considered a healthy way of doing things. He also mentioned, he's an interesting guy, Freud. He also mentioned how the unconscious is where we hold things that we really don't want nobody to know, or we really don't even want to come to the surface, because then we have to deal with them, or they're scary emotions, or they're ugly, or they're not so pleasing to ourselves. It's almost as if there's things that you already knew, or at least I did, but just finally identified and put into definitions, put into words, So I could see why he's so... you've heard of Freud, Sigmund Freud. You probably heard of him in movies, or probably like in high school or something. He's just one of those psychological theorists that is so well known. He's kind of like he's kind of pop culture, So I was in Target yesterday. I went to Target, had to get some deodorant, and I bought my daughter a few things that I feel like we could do together, and whatever. You could call them toys, but it's kind of mechanical and takes some brain work, But man, Target, women love Target, man. There was this Asian girl, and Asian girls don't usually have bodies, They usually have nice big legs, but they don't really have big butts, or even like any kind of butts, But this one, man, she was fucking beautiful. And she didn't look like she was Japanese, or she looked Chinese, like straight up. She didn't look mixed, but man. And she was wearing summer clothes. She wasn't even wearing summer clothes. She was wearing stay in the house clothes. Like, what are you doing? She was pretty much naked, It's fucking insane. God bless America, but it's also an insane fucking country. And there's people walking, the same people that I see in the morning. Soul Man walks every morning. I don't know. And then I see these other beautiful women with these not so super appealing men, not buff, don't look athletic. Don't just look like nice dudes, Just nice guys, but with beautiful women. And I just had that same thought, a woman just wants a man who's nice, who's gonna be consistent, who, they just want to get old with somebody, It's very interesting. I have all these ideas, these experiments I want to do, I want to set up an experiment where I kind of have these fake people gossip about people, and then kind of force these other people to gossip about them, and then later bring that same person they were talking about in front of them, and kind of observe their reaction in front of them, and kind of observe their conscience, because I believe preserving the conscience and being a person who doesn't think negatively about people could get you into any room, and it kind of makes you be a positive person. They talk about positivity. you know. So anyway, I gotta go real quick. Gotta put the sticker up right here. So being a caring parent is very difficult. And I know I'm a fucking weekend dad and whatever. In some circles, I'm a deadbeat. I know there's single, like my Uber driver yesterday, you could just tell he had like a smirk on his face and he wanted to tell me how good of a father he was. But he was a good father, you know. He said his daughter has her first day of school today, where she's gonna meet her teacher. She's gonna be in 2nd grade, but in kindergarten, her teacher did something to her and she lost trust in the teacher forever. Like, he said almost every single day of kindergarten, she didn't want to go into class. But it was also kind of during like COVID, where she was with the mom so much because the mom was at home. So there was some sort of attachment there. There was some sort of detachment issue. And it makes sense. But that she ended up having a good 1st grade year. He says that she reads very well. She knows how to spell. 1st grade, you're only 6 or 7, and that's, you know, she's pretty advanced. Good morning.
Good morning.
Same lady always runs in the morning. And I was doing my best just to be positive, and you know, I was just more interested in like, did you talk to the teacher, or like, kind of wonder like what was going on? What did the teacher say? I was kind of interested in that, you know. And thinking about my daughter, because my daughter is also going to start kindergarten. You know, my mom bought her some uniforms, and you know, she's going to start this Thursday. And you know, school for me was tough, you know, it was fucking rough. So I'm super nervous, you know, and I wish I could be there. I wish I could be there to meet her teacher and just give my daughter that reassurance that, you know, whenever she leaves me, I tell her, you're beautiful, you know, like, you believe that you're beautiful and you're strong and you're smart. And if you don't get something right now, you're going to figure it out. Don't worry if you can't figure it out now. You know, I'm talking about like school. Like, don't think you're dumb, or you're going to figure it out, you know. And I really want to start, like, I'm going to do that when my daughter comes over again, hopefully this weekend. We're going to like practice like how to write her name, and like just so she could practice more, you know, so she could feel adequate. Like, it was funny, like, it's funny but kind of sad, and it kind of made me feel like shit. Like, she was embarrassed to say hamburger. Like, she was like hamburger, and she covered her mouth. Like, she feels embarrassed. She thinks she sounds weird, but I'm trying to teach her syllables like hamburger. And then I just tell her, we have to practice, you know. The only way you can get better is if you practice. So I told her, like, say hamburger. And then she says it. Like, I just tell her off a whim, like, randomly. We'll walk and I'll be like, say hamburger, hamburger. And she says it correct, you know. It's just that when kids speak fast, even I do this. We speak too fast, we like mumble our words, or we sound a little funny. But it's just because she's not used to language right now. She's just a kid, so I'm not like worried about it. She's gonna get older and realize it was just silly to be a certain way, you know. Like, even though I got made fun of as a kid for the way I look, like, I think it's so silly because it just affected me so much to where I was like, man, I was just a kid, you know. I thought I was the world, you know, crumbling. I thought I was worthless, you know. I thought I was inhumane. I thought I wasn't even human, you know, being called alien boy and fucking Tweety Bird and Big Head and Watermelon Head. I'm like, dude, I'm not even a human. I'm different than all these people, these kids. I have to be totally fucking like a sore thumb, you know, to be made fun of. Like, so it's just up to me to not fucking. And she kept mentioning, I have to do homework now. I have to do homework now. Every time I brought up school, she's like, I have to do homework now. So somebody's telling her this, like her parents or her aunties who are still teenagers, or her mom. But sometimes people say things in a stupid way to make a kid feel like homework's like this big old fucking deal. I told her, Aloe, just pay attention in class, okay? There's no difference between homework and classwork. It's just schoolwork that you take home, you know? Just pay attention. And I just told her, bring your homework next time. And she's like, no. I don't know why she told me no, but I definitely want her to bring her homework over so we could do it together, and I could help her, and I could be her other teacher, you know? She's going to be fine, you know? She's going to be fine. She's going to love books. I don't want to pressure her to love books or nag about her, like, read, why don't you read? Like, nah, she's fine. She's okay. And Anyway, my bus is coming. I also want to talk about kind of some other stuff. Peace.
Knave.
Sniveling.
Neurotic.
So why you gotta be careful with social media? When you should be getting rest, you go watch a video, and that shit don't make you not get any rest. But rest is also vital to somebody who works out. So last thing I want is to explode at work, fucking get overwhelmed at school. Especially at school, I'm having a lot of triggers. I don't want to be too specific because we live in this judgmental world. But the shit that my teacher's teaching us is very triggering. It's very enlightening, but also very triggering. And even though she's the fucking professor, I don't know, I feel like I have this ability, the survival mechanism to kind of, think too deep beneath the surface, whether it's the truth or not, So rest is definitely key for me. I have to work from 4:30 to 12 tonight, off of like 3.5 hours of sleep yesterday, and a little bit of sleep the night prior. What's up, bro? But I definitely want to. I would love to go for my run right now and exercise and do my routine, but I have to leave my house by like I said, I like to read my book before work. I think definitely today I probably won't do that. I think it's important that I get rest. I have a day off tomorrow. I'll make sure I get my exercise in tomorrow after school. And I'm off this weekend, so I'll feel better. Again, it's that idea that I'm getting left behind, or rest is important, man. I gotta think to the future. Anyway, I was on the bus right now, and the bus driver was coming fast. Like, that motherfucker was going too fast. It's kind of like if nobody looked at him, like if I had my head down, he probably would have just passed me. And again, most bus drivers are kind of overweight. You know what I mean? I see a lot of dudes that are literally obese. I'm sure they're good fathers or whatever the fuck. I'm sure they pay their bills, are responsible. This dude was fucking. So anyway, I get on the bus. And I feel like takes off quick as fuck, bro. I hadn't even sat down yet. But I'm not gonna complain about that. It's my responsibility. You could just tell the way he does his shit. But I could be hypocritical too, because I'm kind of I could be a dick at work when I feel like, damn, some of these customers are fucking retarded, or they want me to figure out their plumbing issues. I'm not a fucking plumber. I have to help you find the parts you're looking for. I'm not there to fucking find the parts for you. I'm not there to figure out the job for you, right? So I get it. I'm hypocritical if I want to complain about the fucking bus driver driving fast or not waiting for me to sit down. But again, he's fat. He's a bus driver. He sees me with tattoos, They could just have this, they could just kind of not respect me, But again, it's kind of like the triggers in class, or me even noticing shit in my funny teacher. She's funny. All humans are fucked up somewhere, Especially in this day and age. So especially since I'm an older student. The way she teaches is like she's teaching for young people. Like even like some shit that she has us watching, like, oh, this is an assignment. Watch this shit on Netflix. We had to watch some shit called Genie in Georgia. That shit was fucking lame. Like, what are we learning here? Like, this is some Hollywood new age shit, you know? But today was on Carl Jung. A little bit of Maslow's hierarchy. It's pretty interesting. And Jung, you know, it's very interesting. He talks about how we like to wear masks in our persona and also our shadow, which is our dark side. And then I forgot the fucking last part. It's about like self-actualization. But anyway, when I got on the bus, I had my headphones on. So when that stupid fucking bus driver, which a lot of these bus drivers are the same, especially the male ones, some of them can be assholes where like like they could stop the bus right where you're standing, but they'll like pull up ahead of you instead of stopping right where you are. And not to be petty or complain, I just suck it up, you know. But I'm like, man, this fool's and I look up and it's like some fat bus driver, and he's just a bitch, you know. He looks at me like I have tattoos, like. And I noticed all that shit too, and I have anger issues, so anyway, when I like, so he took off all quick. I'm an analytical person, you know. So he took off all quick, and I started like kind of stumbling forward, and like, I mean, if I wasn't balanced or strong or whatever, or athletic, I probably would have fucking flew. So I like said, I kind of looked back at them. They know what the fuck they're doing. So I was like. I said it like, fucking fat fuck. I was about to say, you call him a fat fuck. I said it like under my breath, but I was like, I had my headphones in. I'm like, damn, did I say it? Did he hear me? Did he hear the word fat at least? Because I said, I begun to say it. I was like, fucking fat. And then like I said it, but I finished it off low, you know, kind of like a pussy, you know. And the whole time I'm on the bus feeling like, fuck, this fool fucking hurt me. He's obviously not going to get up and do shit, but if he hurt me, you know, he wasn't going to get up and do anything. His job. I don't know. Easily would have fucking took him on, but I just felt stupid. And that's a learning lesson. Watch your words. I fucking have anger issues, but it's like pride in me, you know? But it's like, man, these people are petty. It makes me fucking hate people. You know? Now, I don't want to be that guy like, well, at least I'm not a fucking bus driver, you know? At least I'm not overweight. That shit doesn't do good for you to be that way either. It's best just to keep your mouth shut and let people be who they are and know who you are, you know? So, yeah. Definitely need to get rest and I'll feel better because even yesterday on a 4.5 hour shift yesterday, I wasn't feeling it. And even in class today, I was just feeling exhausted mentally. So at least an hour or two nap today instead of running in the sun, you know. And just continue tomorrow. Peace. There's this lady named Pam. She works at my job. She's retiring. She's retired. I'm fucking sleepy. Do I look it? She's retired. She retired from marketing, business marketing. And there's some people who are retired and they get jobs at my job, you know. Home Depot, Walmart, Target, a little part-time job, you know, while they get their retirement check. And that's cool. Hello. And she reads books. She sees me reading sometimes, and I'm reading a book on Ayn Rand. I read a book before. I don't think I ever read it, like the whole thing, and put it online as an audio-visual book. But it's the 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. I forgot the author. But it's pretty funny. He mentions the author that I'm reading right now. Her name's Ayn Rand. She was from Europe. I can't remember. But she became an American. And she wrote two of the greatest novels ever. One is The Fountainhead. And the second is Atlas Shrugged. So it's The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged. Atlas Shrugged is almost close to 1,200 pages. I'm reading it right now. I'm going to end up doing an audio-visual book because this book pertains to what's going on today, actually. And she wrote it in the 60s, I believe. I could be wrong. Could be even earlier she wrote it, but it's a work of genius. You know what, like, a lot of people don't like the book. Even the coworker of mine, she's a sweet lady. I believe she's a little naive to the world. She is a sweet lady though. And a lot of people disagree with the book, don't like it. Because Ayn Rand has views that, you know, this idea, this Judeo-Christian belief that we should feel guilty about our achievements. We should feel guilty about our hard work, and we should feel guilty about being successful. We should feel guilty about having a conscious mind that is willing to think, willing to create. That we should feel bad for our neighbors, that the only purpose for our greatness is to be our brother's keeper and to give everything away. To live for self is selfish and evil. And the book is amazing, you know. And as I'm getting older, I tend to agree more to what she's talking about. About a lot of these people just want us to be in fear, to keep us down, to profit off our abilities, to profit off of our genius and our production and our willingness to think and create and to live. You know, when I was young, I was lost. You know, you see people are lost today. Look at the music they listen to when they're bumping in their car. The fucking negativity. They're all choosing to be followers. They're choosing to it's just silly, man. It's, you know, and just because I could justify and say, oh, I was young and I was lost, it still doesn't justify that I was lost. It still doesn't justify, well, oh, you were young, you used to listen to that music too, how could you judge it now? It still doesn't take away the fact that we are lost and we are following to the slaughter. You know, being led by these people who are looters and profit off of our work and our effort and our ability to think and create. It's an amazing book, man. And I fucking wish I would have. I'll read it again, you know, but it's an amazing book and it is relevant to today's times. And I'm so glad I ever ran into her. And I'm honestly surprised that these books are even offered in the Los Angeles County Library. Because this is a state that's so corrupt, you know? Anyway, peace.